I want to take you back to the Oval Office address last night. There's the president on passing the torch. Play this clip.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And that time and place is now.
Yeah, sir, I want to give you a chance to respond to that. But he also said, I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform because it's critical to our democracy. I'm just wondering, was there a thought that you had that he may resign immediately last night? And had he, would that have put Kamala Harris in a better position to take on Donald Trump? What do you think of all that?
Important questions, Bill. Look, first of all, he didn't heroically pass the torch. They ripped it out of his hand. And for the party that professes to be the party of small d democracy, they did exactly the opposite. They disenfranchised 14 million voters that they have that work through their primary systems to make Joe Biden the nominee. But they decided that he wasn't suited anymore, so they replaced him with Kamala without any due real political process there. It's outrageous what's happened there, and there may indeed be legal challenges. Who knows? But this idea that he needs to resign is an important question, because if he cannot run a campaign for the next 4 months, and we all know that he cannot, how is he qualified to run the most important country and the most powerful nation in the history of the world? I don't think he is. I think everybody sees that, and our adversaries do as well. And that is a serious problem right now. Iran and China and Russia and North Korea may see this as an opportunity. And I take every opportunity that I'm talking to look right into the camera and say, do not mistake this. The United States Congress, the United States military, and the American people are ready and resolved to act in our interest at any time. So what's the drama surrounding Joe Biden should not be equated with weakness on the part of the American people. We will stand for the truth and the good thing. And that's why I'm glad we had Prime Minister Netanyahu here yesterday.
It was almost like a mini State of the Union last night. He talked about all the things he'd accomplished and all the things he's going to do in the next 6 months, when really I think the American people were like, are you okay for the next 6 months? Are we reassured? I don't know if that people got that. But the Kamala Harris campaign, they're actually saying unburdened. So assumedly, I guess you have to presume that the burden then was Joe Biden. This is a part of her new ad called for. Watch here.
There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
So she's getting a little bit of the sugar high part of the campaign, a lot of attention already. But there's one thing that I wanted to ask you about, because you had an opportunity to see Joe Biden regularly, and you were saying he's not all there. Does Kamala Harris bear some responsibility for what was covered up to the American people up until last week when Biden was forced out?
Dana, it's the largest cover-up in American political history, and the most damaging and consequential. She knows, Kamala Harris, of course, knows. She spent a lot of time with him. She boasted about how she was at his side all the time, making all these terrible policy decisions, by the way, which is why she clearly is the co-author and the co-owner of all this disaster. But she knew, of course, she was meeting with him regularly. She knew he was not on his A game. And she and other leading Democrats went day after day, time after time, onto the news stations and looked into the cameras and told us a lie. They said, oh, he's on his A game. He runs intellectual circles around us. I mean, listening to them, you would have thought he was going to compete in the Olympics. They knew it wasn't true. And they hoisted a dramatic and really impactful lie upon the American people, gaslighting everybody day by day. And they painted themselves into this corner where now they have Kamala Harris as their nominee for president. Look, I think this election is going to be about policies, not personalities. And you line up the policies and the records of the Trump administration and the Biden-Harris administration side by side, it is no contest, and everybody knows that.
Speaking of that contest, CNN had a poll out. This was Monday and Tuesday. These are early days, okay? Just want to caution folks. Trump has an edge nationally, 49 to 46. That was the 22nd and 23rd, so that was Monday and Tuesday. Sir, listen, we are drowning in news. We are well aware of it. So are the American people. With regard to the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, you told Dana and me in Milwaukee last week that you're going to set up a task force. That's now established. 7 Republicans, 6 Democrats. Kim Cheadle said she will have her report in 60 days. When will you have yours, and how soon would that be, knowing how important this is, not just to Republicans or Democrats or independents or communists or social, you name the group, how important it is to truly understand what went down in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Critically important. And as we discussed in Milwaukee, the reason we set up, I've created a task force is so that they can move quickly. Speed and precision are really important here. We have got to get the answer for the American people. 60 days is not soon enough. That resolution passed on the House floor unanimously last night. And so the Republicans and Democrats that are serving on that task force will be named later today before we leave town. They will begin work in earnest. There's a deadline of early December for their final report, but we expect and anticipate interim reports along the way. That work will begin in earnest. They will be issuing subpoenas. We will get down to the bottom of this. We have to have accountability, and we have to ensure that anything like this never happens again. And so we're going to have very serious people on the task force doing very serious work, and the American people are owed that.
Speaker Johnson, thank you, and thanks for getting that American flag back up at Union Station yesterday. It was disgraceful what happened, but we're grateful that you guys made it right.
Thank you, sir. Come back soon.
Thank you all. Good to see you. You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.